good morning and welcome. Then we will move forward with the part where Mr. Peter Stalens from DG GROW, European Commission, will provide us information on the EU construction ecosystem policy developments. And then we will move with the next part, where Antonio Altano will provide us a presentation of the functionalities of the EU construction platform. Last but not least, we will have, of course, we have the honor to have today with us also Roman Horvath from DG GROW at European Commission, where we will have an in-depth understanding on synergies between the platform European Construction Observatory and High-Level Construction Forum. Mr. Roman Horvath, of course, will provide us with the future steps relating to the EU construction platform. Before giving the floor to Ms. Barbara Bonvissuto, I will like to share with you some housekeeping notes regarding today's session. You can write your questions in the chat. They will be answered at the end of the training. But if you wish to ask a question which is directly related to the presentation, you can use, of course, your raise your hand command. Please identify yourself in the beginning of a question. That will help us a lot to get to know you and see the context overall. For your information, today's webinar is being recorded and will be made available, of course, on the context of the event on EU construction platform. And last but not least, all questions submitted via the chat that are not addressed at the end. These questions will be reviewed, addressed and shared with you on the EU construction platform. So I will give the floor to Ms. Barbara Bonvissuto.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. And it's a pleasure for me to provide introductory remarks to this event, which comes at a very interesting moment for the construction ecosystem, because only yesterday the Commission unveiled the comprehensive package to get Europeans better access to affordable, sustainable and good quality housing. Indeed, as you know, there's a strong need in Europe to tackle the housing affordability crisis, which is driven by limited housing supply, rising construction costs, persistent productivity gaps, and complex permitting procedures. There's quite a gap between demand and supply. 1/3 of EU regions have not kept pace with the demographic demand, and Europe will need 650,000 additional dwellings per year, in addition to the 1.6 million which are already built to meet future needs. So this gap between demand and supply makes the construction ecosystem extremely important and really key in order to bridge the gap. And the European strategy for housing construction, which we have adopted yesterday as part of the affordable housing package, has really the objective of making sure that the construction ecosystem can play fully its role. And the strategy aims in this respect to strengthen the competitiveness, productivity, innovation of the construction ecosystem, so that indeed it can contribute to delivering more affordable, sustainable and high quality housing across the EU. By strengthening competitiveness across the construction ecosystem and addressing bottlenecks in skills, standards, and access to materials, the strategy aims to make it easier, faster, and more cost-effective to build. But I will not dwell a lot on the strategy, because then you will hear more details by my colleague Peter Stalens. now I just want to stress that today's event is really about the cooperation between us and you, our stakeholders. We have built in the previous year a tradition of conducting our policy work in dialogue with you, asking for your feedback, for your inputs, and indeed this dialogue has been indispensable for us in order to support the co-design, the implementation and dissemination of policy actions and initiatives that affect the construction ecosystem. This dialogue, for example, underpinned the transition pathway for construction, which we launched 2 years ago, which was a participatory cooperation endeavor between the Commission, member states, industrial stakeholders, and other experts, and which set the direction, the ambitions, and actions for the greening and digitalization of the construction sector. This has been then followed up by the High-Level Construction Forum, the forum which has also been instrumental in developing our European strategy for housing construction. Indeed, we presented our preliminary ideas for the strategy, and we received the important inputs and comments from you through the dedicated session of the High-Level Forum. Also, with the High-Level Forum, we organized plenty of technical sessions on issues such as artificial intelligence, digital building logbooks, material shortages, just to name a few. Now we are planning a plenary session of the High-Level Construction Forum in early spring next year, and we will continue obviously to inform all of you through the High-Level Competitiveness Forum, Construction Forum newsletter, and also we will inform through that of our next meetings and event. But we want to even further improve our outreach towards stakeholders, and this is why we have been offered the opportunity, and we have decided to take it up to make use of EU platforms, which are established already for several ecosystems covered by our DG GROW. And today we are therefore happy to present the EU platform for the construction ecosystem, which has the aim to facilitate dialogue with all stakeholders. The experts from Netcompany will provide you with more details about the platform during today's webinar. The overall idea is that the platform should provide you with an integrated user experience. And it has the ambition to become a one-stop shop to find the necessary resources and to access a range of content which is tailored to your interest. The platform would be regularly updated in order to present relevant information and links to official and community resources which are useful for the transition of the ecosystem, including information on new policy, implementation, activities, funding and learning opportunities, best practices and events. And also, and I think that's really what is key, it would be a means to engage and connect with each other. So to be clear, the platform is not established to substitute any of our existing initiatives. I mentioned, for example, the High-Level Construction Forum, but it is established rather to complement this initiative and to allow for better sharing of information. So I would very much like you to encourage, I would like very much to encourage you to explore the functionalities and to actively use the platform because we really believe the partnership with national governments, regional authorities, companies, other experts working together in a joint endeavor is crucial to achieve the objectives that we have just set out yesterday in our strategy. So with that, I really hope that the platform will contribute to strengthen our cooperation. I already would like to thank you for active participation in this process, and I wish you a fruitful webinar. Many thanks.
Thank you very much for your valuable perspectives. We can move forward with the first presentation. Mr. Peter Stylens, the floor is yours.
Hello, very good morning to all of you. Indeed, I am Peter Stylens, head of sector of sustainable construction in the H1 unit in DG GROW. From this point of view, as head of sector, I'm also very proud to be able to announce that we adopted yesterday our strategy for housing construction as part of the wider European affordable housing package. So I'm also happy to say a few words about this today before then giving the floor back to people who will give more information about this platform, which is of course the main reason why we are here today. But we didn't want to miss the opportunity today with all these people in this virtual room to still say a few words about our strategy, because we are really happy that it was adopted yesterday. Maybe we can move to the next slide. So just to start, and this is what I usually do when we talk about our strategy or when we talk about the affordable housing package in general, is just a quick step back at looking why we're actually doing this. Because I was also involved in earlier exercises of measuring the depth of this affordable housing crisis, really looking at it from an economic perspective, what is actually happening, trying to really understand what happens before starting to act. And I remember also when we were doing this exercise, we very often looked at average figures of evolution of housing prices. And surprisingly, although we had a feeling that there was a real affordable housing crisis, when we were looking at these average figures, in many cases, they were not very specific, or they were just moving along with inflation, for example. So from the average evolutions, you couldn't really tell that there is a big crisis going on. Of course, we had to look deeper, and then we found that this affordable housing crisis is a very specific crisis that has very specific geographical focus on cities in specific regions of countries. So we really had to look at the areas where people really want to live, the cities that are quite popular, where people want to live. And there, of course, the affordable housing crisis was the strongest, most important. And this is also can be seen from the results from a very recent survey that was done. The graph on the left shows some results from the Flash Eurobarometer, which is a survey done still this year in 2025, where a lot of European citizens were asked, what is the real problem if you look at the place where you live, how you live, what is the problem for you, what is a major issue for you? And of course, in the cities, the number one issue for most European citizens is exactly the lack of affordable housing. It's seen as a real problem for more than 50% of people living in cities. If you look at towns and suburbs, if you look at rural areas, it is also seen as a major issue by European citizens, but to a much to a lower extent. So you see, first, it is a real issue for many European citizens, and it has some clear concentration in cities. So this was the first realization that indeed there is a real affordable housing crisis that needs to be tackled. And then we also had a second realization looking at the figures. This is shown in the graph on the right side. So this is the graph that has been created by ECB, European Central Bank. I must say that colleagues in ECB have done a great job in creating quite a confusing graph, but I want you to not look at the bars, but to just look at the dots. The dots show productivity changes between 2019 and 2024. And then you need to know, that's also not in the legend, but you need to know that NACE code F is the code for construction. So if you look at the dots for F, you really come to a very strong realization. You see that productivity changes between 2019 and 2024 for most economic sectors in European Union have been around zero, or have been relatively positive, slightly positive, between 0 and 6% positive, with a big exception of the construction sector, where the productivity evolution between 2019 and 2024 decreased. If you look at evolution per hour, it decreased by 7%. If you look at productivity per person, it decreased by 8%. So this was the second realization, that the construction ecosystem is not moving along with the productivity gains of other ecosystems. So it really needs a boost to be able to become more productive. So this is one of the specific reasons that, as part of the affordable housing package, you have this specific strategy that we created in DG GROW to support the construction sector in being prepared to deliver more housing. And for us, a main way to go is to make sure that the construction ecosystem becomes more productive, becomes more competitive, to really start better supplying housing for the increasing demand. So this is the reason why we created this separate strategy for housing construction. And maybe next slide, please. So this is an overview. Of course, yesterday the full affordable housing package was adopted. It has been presented by Commissioner Jurgensen, who is the Commissioner for Housing. And a main part of this whole package is, of course, the European Affordable Housing Plan, which was also adopted yesterday. It has been created by our colleagues in the Commission working for the Housing Task Force. This housing plan gives quite a comprehensive approach to correcting housing imbalances by acting simultaneously on supply, also acting on demand, also with a very strong social dimension, looking at social protection for the most vulnerable groups of European citizens, also looking at access to finance and how to create more financing, how to create more investments in the housing sector. So this European Affordable Housing Plan, for example, it has a chapter on short-term rentals, which is incidentally the chapter that is being singled out a little bit by media outlets. If I look at the newspapers this morning, it seems to be quite media genetic. Of course, maybe interesting to add here that at European level, we're not necessarily looking at a full regulation at European level for short-term rentals. In fact, what we have in the Affordable Housing Plan is just an announcement. And the idea is that at European level, we would just support cities, touristic cities, big cities with quite some pressure due to short-term rentals. The idea would be for the European level to support cities in taking some measures in case there is a real problem with short-term rentals in relationship to housing prices. So this is the Affordable Housing Plan. Maybe if you can just stay 1 minute with the previous slide. I was almost there. Many thanks. The second part is a change or review of state aid rules, where there are, of course, very strong and strict state aid rules on social housing. There has been a review of state aid rules, now also giving some flexibility for public authorities to invest or to support building, not only for social housing, but also for affordable housing. This can be done under very strict circumstances, of course. It's not a blanco check to give massive state aid for all kinds of housing, but it gives some flexibility for public authorities to do more than just social housing. There is the new European Bauhaus communication, which is also a very interesting read for all of you, because New European Bauhaus used to have this very strong focus on design, on social aspects, on neighborhood level aspects, and investments in creating better living conditions at the level of neighborhood and so on. But recently, the center of gravity also of New European Bauhaus has shifted quite a bit. The New European Bauhaus Academy will become some kind of hub for capacity building for skills, for example. The research and funding of New European Bauhaus will also go to, for a substantial extent, will go into the value chains of construction, looking at innovation in the value chains of construction and so on. So also for many practitioners from the construction ecosystem, this has become a very interesting read, and European Bauhaus, an initiative to follow up closely. And then another pillar is then our European strategy for housing construction, which we see as the industrial pillar of the affordable housing package, where we worked on with many colleagues in the units and in DG GROW also cooperating with the colleagues in environment, with the task force and so on, to also have this strategy for the construction ecosystem. And maybe next slide, please. So of course, the strategy for housing construction, it is not a standalone document. We refer, of course, to many other strategies and initiatives that have been launched already in 2025. A few of them are the single market strategy, of course, with the construction products regulation. We keep on contributing to completing the single market for construction products. We will have an action in 26 where we work on a Construction Services Act, trying to complete single market for construction services too. It links to the Clean Industrial Deal, which was announced already in February 2025. It links to the Apply AI strategy, which was also published already a few months ago in 25, and which has a specific chapter on manufacturing and construction, and for good reason, of course, because there is a lot to be expected from evolutions in AI if we apply it properly, for AI to support the construction ecosystem in many stages of construction, building phases, to support the ecosystem in becoming more productive, more competitive. It looks forward, our strategy looks forward to the Industrial Accelerator Act, which will be adopted or announced in 2026. This looks, for example, at supporting our energy-intensive industries in their green transition. How can we do that? How can we support these industries? Very important, of course, as for the construction ecosystem, many of the value chains leading to the construction ecosystem are energy-intensive industries, steel, cement, ceramics, and so on. So very important acts that we will have in 2026. And of course, we look forward to the Circular Economy Act, which is foreseen for the third quarter of 26, where quite some of our actions are linked to, especially our actions with a link to secondary materials, reducing or harmonizing or looking at more harmonizing end-of-wage criteria, for example, creating real markets for secondary construction products, and so on. So this will be done via the Circular Economy Act, where we work closely with colleagues in DG Environment, and which is foreseen for the third quarter of 26. And then next slide, please. Our strategy for housing construction. The idea, of course, for this strategy is to unlock the full potential of the construction ecosystem. We have a few focus areas in the strategy. One is simplifying and digitalizing administrative procedures. The second one is really to give the support for innovation and scaling up of the construction value chains. A third focus area is access to raw and also to secondary raw materials, where there is, again, this very strong link with the Circular Economy Act, where a few of our measures will be delivered by the Circular Economy Act in 26. And then a fourth focus area, I would say, which is about access to construction services and construction skills. And maybe my final slide. I think it's on its way. So my final slide, many thanks. Just giving an overview of the actions that we have in our strategy. Of course, I will leave it to you to take a look at the full plan, which has all these actions clearly in the boxes, also with an explanation why we take this action, what is to be expected from it. But just to give the quick overview, first action related to simplifying is this mapping exercise on permitting, looking at the state of play of residential permitting in the member states, not just for new houses, also for renovations. What are kind of redundant rules? And the whole idea of this mapping exercise is that then in the next step, we can also support member states in simplifying their rules related to residential permitting. A follow-up exercise that will be done, of course, also in full cooperation with the task force on affordable housing. The second action is about digital product passports, which will be mandatory for construction products within the construction products regulation as from 2028, which will also boost the availability of data related to construction products, and which will boost application of many other digital systems. A third action is related to the new construction products regulation, where very interestingly, we were also able to publish the working plan for 26-29 related to the CPR. The idea is to accelerate quite some work streams, and especially with the aim to boost innovation at the level of construction products, but also to boost, for example, harmonization for construction products related to offsite construction or specific building kits related to renovation and so on. The fourth action is again related to innovation. We talk about the EIB lending envelope, which is quite a substantial amount of money that will be invested very specifically in innovation in construction value chains. We look to the NEP research funding. NEP, I already talked about it, increasingly looking at construction value chains. Idea will be also to create CCT offsite pilots, still a bit of a vague term. CCT means a competitiveness coordination tool. Idea is that together with a few member states, we will create some projects to support offsite construction. It will be a multi-member state project that will get some support from the European Commission. And the idea is that at the same time, the member states will commit to some simplification, harmonization of all rules, permitting rules, and so on that is related to offsite construction. The fifth action then is mostly linked to what we plan to do with the vehicle of the Circular Economy Act, third quarter of 26, which is to address fragmentation and end of waste criteria. Because right now this is kind of important barrier for construction waste to be transported across border and for them to be used as a real secondary material in new projects. And we'll also look at digitalization of pre-demolition audits. An impact assessment at this moment of time is ongoing. So of course, any action we will take into account results from this impact assessment. But in any case, the Commission is also committed to support more pre-demolition audits as more data, more availability of data related to products or secondary products from demolition sites is seen as instrumental for the creation of real markets of secondary materials. Sixth action is related to skills, idea to increase the flow of services via Construction Services Act, which will also be which is also announced for 2026. And the seventh action is the real capacity building for skills and construction, where we will use the funding that is available to do this to maximum extent, and we will use the Future Competitiveness Fund for that, but also the NEP Academy, which has become some kind of hub for capacity building related to skills in construction. So this for the overview of the housing strategy. Of course, apart from this, there are still some work streams ongoing. Just to name a few, we follow up, of course, on the Horizon projects. We are working on a taxonomy review, including the review for construction activities. This is expected. We are expected to have this by spring 26. We continue our work on BIM in construction and so on. But I think for today, it was maybe interesting to give this short overview of our specific strategy that we're proud it was adopted yesterday. And with this, I'm also very happy to give the floor back to Roman, to the people from the company who will present you this platform, the real reason why we are here together today. Many thanks.
Thank you very much for sharing this valuable information with us. Thank you very much. We can move forward with the presentation of Mr. Antonio Altana, who will give us an in-depth understanding of the functionalities of the EU construction platform. Mr. Altana, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. The goal of my presentation is to give you an overview of the functionalities of the new EU construction platform. Please, next slide. Yes, so today I'm going to give you an overview of the entire user experience. So starting from a quick introduction on the new released construction platform, through the entire process from the access and registration to the platform, how to navigate, explore the platform and navigate through the content, and its capabilities of identify what you need, what you want to see and find in the platform. As one of the most important features and aspects of the platform, I'm going also to cover how the stakeholders, the relevant users and stakeholders can contribute by publishing their content. And related to this, in addition to this, also how to submit commitments, pledges, and update them during their execution. I will finish providing the information about how you can receive support during the use of the platform and how to start to be engaged with the platform capabilities. Yes, so a quick introduction on the EU construction platform. As has been already mentioned, the goal of the platform is to act as a hub, a comprehensive hub of information where it's possible for the various stakeholders to learn about the EU construction ecosystem, where it's possible for them, for you, to either find news and find information about policies, news and information about innovation, very sectorial, customized for the construction ecosystem. To do so, the platform will facilitate the collaboration across the entire construction chain, value chain that is covered in the aspect of the platform, but will also help the stakeholders to stay updated on the latest news and also be visible in the ecosystem and in the value chain by providing their content. Of course, the construction platform will be highly accessible and also fully multilingual. So all the aspects will be also, it's possible to be translated in 24 European languages. Yes, so to get started and access and register to the platform, of course, it's possible to reach the platform directly via the link, but it's possible also to reach the platform, the construction platform, through the hub, the Transition Pathway Stakeholder Support Platform, and where you can find the various ecosystems that have a similar platform and select and go through the construction ecosystem. At this point, to act as a user, you just need an active EU login account, and you can create your account for the platform. It's a very lean procedure where you will be asked only a few information or basic information as first name, last name, contact email address, organization type, name of the organization, and country. And you can add some additional information as a short statement and, if desired, also a profile picture. And the Join Ecosystem button will let you to complete the entire registration and be logged in. Through the account settings, it's possible to personalize your home page so that you can customize your experience by selecting the areas of interest in the ecosystem. For example, as a particular country of interest that you want to monitor or to want to be updated to, relevant stakeholder of interest, and different area of interest within the entire construction platform. This will help to customize your home page and tailor your experience in using the platform. Of course, these settings during the use of the platform can always be updated and be modified if there is any change. Go into your profile and change your account settings. Yes, so to explore the platform and navigate through the content, the first in the home page, it's possible to see this horizontal banner where there are a first level categorization of item. Going in order, you can find news, publication, multimedia resources, and latest events and development in the construction sector in the What's New category tab. In the policy framework first level category, you can find contents and that will help you to explore the European and national level policies that are driving the green and digital and resilience transition, always in the construction sector. There is an area, a very important area dedicated to the stakeholder actions, where it's possible to discover the commitment submitted by the stakeholders, have information on the latest project results, read about business stories, and get access to networks of stakeholders that can help you to contribute in bringing innovation and sustainability in the construction sector. As well, a very important area of the platform is dedicated to the funding opportunities, where are listed information about upcoming funding calls. There are general information about the funding programs and instruments that can support projects and generally innovations for green and digital future innovations. As part of the platform, there is the area dedicated to knowledge and learning tools that can help you to access to data, training resources, online courses, to develop and support the skill development and knowledge transition in the construction sector. To have an overview of the contents, there is an interactive map that can help you to explore the content and connect with members in categorized by country. That will help you to have details about the content for each country. And in the calendar section, it's possible to have an overview in a calendar point of view of the upcoming dates and important dates and events. Now to go a bit in detail for each category, in the What's New, in the second level category, to go more in detail, we can find news and publication, so the relevant news or relevant publications for the construction system, multimedia resources, and the list of events. As an important aspect to point out, in the events category, there are also reported as the high-level construction forum events. Not only the upcoming one, but also as an archive are reported and stored also information of all the previous high-level construction forum events, so that you can retrieve important information and resources also through this category. The policy framework contains, has been divided in this subcategory so that it's more easy to access and identify the content that of interest. So there are different subcategories where it's possible to find the content regarding the green and digital transition, resilience and skills development, of course, and dedicated area on the housing, but also to name a few, the cross-cutting policies, so the interaction with other ecosystems, and policies on regional and local level. The area dedicated to the stakeholder actions contains the commitment and the pledges submitted by the stakeholders to move in the green, digital, and resilient transition. It's possible to find information on virtuous project and the results that can contaminate and bring innovation to the ecosystem. Also business stories and platforms and networks that can help the collaboration between the stakeholders. As mentioned, in the funding opportunities category, you can find both the upcoming funding calls and funding instruments. In the knowledge learning category, there are different kinds of material. Training courses, so for example, live webinars that it's possible to register and follow to get some training. Material that it's possible to use, learning material that it's possible to use offline, for example, but also sets of data that is possible to use also for various activities, for knowledge and for other kind of projects. In the interactive map, as you can see, there is an overview of the European countries, and for each of them, by clicking on them, we can have an overview on the status of the content for each country. The calendar tab gives us an overview with the most important dates, but using the filtering section can also help us to retrieve previous events so that any material doesn't get lost, but it's always possible to retrieve past events and retrieve the resources. This is a recording of a live demonstration of the use of the platform to see how will be visually the use of it. This is the home page customized according to the area of interest. Moving through the first level category, it's possible to see the second level subcategories to identify each of them. It is possible to navigate the interactive map and for each country have information about the number of members registered per country, the number of content for each subcategory that are addressed for the various country. And it's possible for the various content to also have link to external resources. For example, now navigating through the databases and there is a content source that is external to the platform, it's possible to click on it. You will be redirected to the database, in this case, linked to the content. And it's possible to navigate through the various categories and for the various contents, it's possible to move through the various subcategory and sort according to the relevance of your research to the items or page to have a full accessibility on the platform. The events by default are showing the upcoming event, but it's possible with the sorting button to see also previous events, and it's always possible to define a range of validity of the event and to filter it, selecting content type, the geographical descriptor, organization type, strategic area, language, or related organization. Yes, to go a bit in detail on this part, the platform is equipped with different tools to customize your research. So you can always sort your results by relevance, so how close the item match your research, by date, by the last time of update of the content, but also by the number of views of the content. As well as by sorting, your research can be fine-tuned, filtering by specific keyword, publication date of the post, the type of content, using the geographical descriptor as a filter, or by organization type, strategic area, and the related organization. Yes. Now, one of the most important feature, and it's an invitation also to engage with the platform, is on contributing with your content. So as a stakeholder, to publish your content. This is very lean procedure. You can access it both through the direct button propose content, or using the proposed content in your profile menu. And you can decide which kind of content you like to propose. You can propose content on different kind of for all the subcategories. You can propose, for example, business stories, and events, and a particular development news or publication. And of course, you can publish also news on project or submit a pledge or a commitment. To check the status of your contribution, you can check it by going to your profile, and in the My Contribution tab, you can see the status of your contribution. It could be in a draft status if it's still not complete. It could be in the pending review, and then will be at the end eventually will be published. And in this case, once it's published, you can go back to edit it, or for an occasion, in the case it's possible to delete the item. This is, as before, a recording on the entire process to see how easy and straightforward is the procedure to propose a new content. So starting from the proposed content button, you will be redirected to the overview of the kind of content that you can propose, and a box will appear suggesting which kind of content is covered by each category. So for example, if you are not sure about under which category your content might be addressed, there are some hints and indication on selecting the most appropriate category to upload your content. Once you select it and accept the waiver, you can create your content. And now you will be asked to provide the general information about the content. So starting with an indicative title about the content, you can also paste an external address and have a link to this text. You can have a short summary that will be shown as in the overview of the content, have a thumbnail image connected to the content that you can use that can act as the main body of the content. So in this case, the text can be longer and larger and can be formatted in the various way to give the best, let's say, experience and the best tool to provide a text informative content. It's possible to attach documents and the descriptor that can help to tag and categorize your content. So geographical descriptor, which kind of organization type will be interested or is addressing to the content, and under which transition pathway strategic area your content is addressing. Once you introduce all the points, you can submit, and this point it will go through a review process and eventually will be published. Yes, as mentioned earlier, as an important part of the platform is your contribution. So in addition to proposing content, it's also possible to submit commitments. So submit a pledge. So the pledge are defined as a voluntary public commitment by the stakeholder to support the sustainability of the construction sector transition. And each pledge can contribute to the defined shared goals in the construction transition pathway. For example, achieve to climate neutrality and resilient environment, improve energy efficiency and accelerate uptake of renewable solution, enhance circularity and resource efficiency, support the innovation and digitalization of the practices, promote the development, the skill development and resilience in the and inclusive working condition, enhance sustainability of the value chain across the value chain, and also responsible procurement practices. As for the proposing content, it's very easy. You can select the pledge, accept the waiver, and then as information you will be asked to fill a title of the pledge, the commitment progress if it's an ongoing project, if it's a starting commitment, giving information, contact information to have a reporting on the status of the pledge, how often, which frequency you can be contacted for giving information about the status of the pledge, and a target date. Of course, you can link also to external website to provide additional information. Yes, so the platform is as a fully support system. So there is a construction help desk for question and information specific for the construction ecosystem, as well as a technical help desk that it's more technical for bugs on the platform. And it's uploaded and published on the platform also a user guide that can give general information on how use the platform and general indication on how to upload content. As you've seen, this is the last part of my presentation. It's very easy and straightforward to access to the platform, and through the QR code you will be directly linked and directed to the platform and to create your profile and access to the platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Altana, for your valuable perspectives and showcasing these functionalities. Very, very helpful. Thank you very much. We can move forward with the next part. Mr. Roman Horvat, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much for giving the opportunity to speak at this webinar. So let's say I will speak about the synergies between various initiatives or other platforms. And also, as I'm looking at the chat, there are some questions. I will try to answer them, let's say, via presentation. Actually, I am in charge of last two presentations, also about the future steps. So let's say I will, let's say, have the privilege to monopolize the time now, I should say. So the synergies between the EU Construction Platform, Construction Observatory, and High-Level Construction Forum. Definitely, this is in positive meaning. We can speak also about collaboration, or let's say, as Madam Barbara von Bisto said, about some complementary roles of those, let's say, initiative or three platforms. Of course, in negative manner, we can speak about overlaps, but we definitely try to avoid any overlaps. Next slide, please. This is the principal part or principal slide of my, let's say, contribution. We can see all three initiatives. So European Construction Observatory. Of some of you, the title in the past was European Construction Sector Observatory, but as we move to, let's say, ecosystem approach, we just skip a sector from the title, but it's the same, let's say, initiative what we ran in the past, High-Level Forum and the platform. The Construction Sector Observatory focuses in its activities on production of very specific evidence-based documents. So it runs also data mapper. It has its own website, and it will run one webinar per year. It informs about its activities and specifically about deliverables being produced via newsletters. So it's very specific activities, very much data and analyze oriented. So this is probably not the best platform or best, it's possible, say, website to be really. Oh, did I change something? Oh no. Okay, sorry. Not to gain some kind of let's say contribution of our stakeholders. Contribution in this regard is more focusing usually on the production of such a document. We are consulting our stakeholders also via some annual surveys, but not really, it is not really built for some exchanges on policy development, because Construction Observatory is not really strongly focusing on policy development. Then the other initiative is a High-Level Construction Forum. This is our major tool or vehicle to interact with you, our stakeholders. We are organizing various webinars, plenary meeting every year, also, let's say, preparing various short studies and surveys. And we are communicating to you beyond the webinars also via newsletters. The High-Level Construction Forum doesn't have its own website, but let's say its documents are being published under the construction unit on the Europa website. And then now we have the platform. Platform as such doesn't have its own documents or studies or news, but it's let's say it publishes news relevant for construction ecosystem, either produced directly by the construction unit or various other commission services, or also various external sources like of our stakeholders, which would be of interest of all of you. So various new studies, surveys, or various reports. The point is when we are, let's say, when we can say what is the difference between normal commission page of construction unit and this platform. The principal point is that usually our construction page is predominantly focusing on activities of our construction unit, maybe some most important activities of some neighboring units, but not really on a broad context. So the platform, the role of the platform is to be really a one-stop shop regarding information, most important information regarding construction ecosystem. So it will try to map the development across the Commission and beyond across the stakeholders. Of course, in this effort, we really would like to cooperate with you, rely also on you, that you will submit some interesting development to us, I mean to the platform, that to share the, let's say, such developments for others, with other stakeholders that can also profit from it, perhaps as examples of good practices. So the scope, please stay. The scope of the platform is much broader than the website of the construction unit. And of course, it allows with some interaction with you, our stakeholders, which is not really possible on our existing pages. It is the same role for not just for our ecosystem. There is, I think, 7 platforms already existing, and at least 1 or 2 will be added at a later stage. If I might jump to some questions which are in chat. So Fernando Sigos from EBC asked about whether the content of other platforms like BuildUp, Portal Pack for Skills, Erasmus Plus are already available here. The point is that we will not replicate the full content. We will replicate sometimes the most important news, messages, or reports, but definitely we are providing links to such a platform as an information sources. But the definitely platform cannot be just, let's say, mirroring all activities of other platforms. Then let's say such a size of activity is not really supportable. Stefano Bonfa, let's say, if you are developing some kind of higher IT tool system for thinking and smart cities, of course, when you have some kind of product or report which can summarize this activity, definitely you can publish this perhaps as a project or good practice on the platform. So it's possible, and definitely other stakeholders will benefit from this your activity. Other question, my question is how to start using the platform and improve the EU platform under construction. I see there's 2 questions. So definitely you can how to start using it was just explained by Antonio Antana, and there if you would look there are, let's say, banners, 5 moving banners at the beginning of the platform, and the 5th, the link of 5th, if I remember correctly, is leading to a technical guidelines how to use the platform. Definitely this presentation, which was presented today, and the report of the meeting today, of the webinar, will be published on the platform, so you can consult it again, how you really can start to use the platform. And of course, let's say the best way is to just to start to do it, because as we are in construction, so learning by doing is a usual case in construction. The contact is usually mentioned at the bottom of the page of on the platform, so you can let's say contact let's say technical support if needed, and how to improve. Of course, if you have some suggestions for improvement, you can send us email, and we will consider, let's say, further improvements. There was also a question about CPR. The platform for the moment doesn't cover, let's say, so widely the CPR activities, but definitely this we would like to change in the future, as the platform just started and we try to fine-tune its functioning. And let's say the topics being covered, this is our next step, which we would like to address. Perhaps we should go to the next slide. And one more. Yeah, I would like to encourage you just get started. As I said, the presentation and the report will be available soon on the page, so you can check it and consult it, and based on let's say description there, or let's say by technical guidelines which is available on the platform, you can start to use the platform as such. It is not something like rocket science. There's a lot of parameters which you can select or change. So let's say you can play with it a bit to find the best selection for you. The point is that the current contract, we have a contract which is supporting the platform creation and population, will end on 15th of January, but the Commission already just had an open call for continuation of the contract, and new contract most likely will be available in February. Regarding new contract, it will definitely focus now on further development of the platform, because current platform, it has certain, let's say, technical limits, it's possible to say. So the new contract should focus on further development, technical aspects of the platform, should improve communication across various platforms. But it's not just construction ecosystem, but there is 7 other platforms. As I said, maybe 1, 2 will be added under the new contract. So how to, let's say, use some cross-platform search for various topics, because various industrial ecosystem are also connected regarding their activities. And let's say further more user-friendly navigation and let's say usage of the platform and various other new functions. So the new contract will probably start in February and will be concluded for next 3 years. So it's a sufficiently long time to really make the platform to function very well, and I would say to satisfy your needs as a stakeholders, but also let's say our needs as the provider of the platform and information on the platform. United Kingdom field of countries in my account settings. Okay, let's say we will have a look on the United Kingdom, whether it's possible to, but principally we will focus on EU27. If somebody would like to add some information about UK, we will not really, let's say, object, but principally if there is any document, it should cover EU countries. So to cover, if there's a document to cover only United Kingdom, it should really bring some added value also for Europe, let's say, or European stakeholders to be published on the platform, as I see. And I, let's say, don't see any other questions in the chat. Of course, let's say, it's fine for me if you will, let's say, reach us and pose any other questions or suggestions. Perhaps just a small reminder, you should probably receive the letter that the Construction Observatory will also, let's say, run its launching webinar on 27th of January. The principal point present there will be the observatory in its new phase and the new data mapper based on Power BI and the skill analytical report on skills, which was published yesterday as a part of the housing package. So that's everything from myself. I must say that, yeah, let's say in general, if you would like to have some questions about all 3 initiatives, maybe I'm your best interlocutor because I'm in charge of all 3 projects. So it means on high-level forum, construction ecosystem observatory, and platform. Thank you very much once more for your, let's say, participation in this webinar. I'm really glad to be here with you, and I'm looking forward to our fruitful cooperation in the future either on the platform or in other activities. Thank you very much once more. I wish you a very nice afternoon and very nice and peaceful end of the year circulated by your family, friends, and relatives. Thank you very much and bye.